Good morning. It's time for a bit more Uber Grace, where the grace is uberlicious. And I've been talking a little bit about my old job. And one of the things we used to do in that was the behaviour from the youngsters sometimes was just really out of order. And we used to have what we'd usually in normal life would call a punishment. But back then we called it sanctions. And then we realised that the word sanction was kind of what you do to Iran or what the CIA do to their enemies. So we stopped sanctioning the kids, assassinating them. And we started to call them consequences, which is a word I love because of the amount of S sounds in it. And makes me sound like King John from the Robin Hood film from Disney. Anyway, what we used to do is we were taught, because when you're really angry and stuff, you're like, wait until you calm down, do the smallest possible punishment for the least amount of time. It really went contrary to how you were feeling, but that's what we had to do. And it was actually quite effective, to be honest. Kids that haven't got a lot, to take loads off them was often counterproductive. But anyway, sometimes when they got a bit older, we asked them to design their own consequence. What do you think should happen? And what was amazing was that they didn't sort of say, well, I've been really naughty, so give me some chocolate, which you might think. They were actually really, really harsh on themselves. They were really tough on themselves and gave themselves some crazy sanctions that you would never dream of punishing your child with. It's just like, what? So what we used to do was we whittled it down, which made us look really good. And then we would just, let them do that. But it just struck me how there was something in the heart of man that really wants to give themselves a hard time, really wants to be vengeant towards others or towards ourselves. And I really believe this is the crux, really, of where this whole hell doctrine has come from. Because it wasn't what Jesus taught. It's not even mentioned, really, in the epistles in the New Testament. It's been woven in. And actually, by the time the Roman government took over the church and made it this big official nasty thing, actually, it was a minority view. There was someone like Augustine from Algeria who was the big mover shaker that moved that doctrine into the centre. Historically speaking, it was a minority view. But there is something in the heart of man that wants to pay for what they've done wrong, wants to really and make other people pay. It's like there's a justice that has to be done, and this is so obvious in these young kids that if you gave them even a fraction of the punishment they gave themselves, there would be a massive kick-off. And yet they would just say, no, I deserve this, I deserve this, I deserve this, and other people, if I deserve this, then other people deserve this. And it just snowballs into craziness. And then you get to the Middle Ages when Dante's doing these horrible paintings and whatever he did, his divine, what's it called, which was just awful perception of what happens if you don't believe in Jesus. And it just comes from that heart. It's a really humanistic view of God. And we need to stop having the humanistic view of God, and we need to start to see our Father in heaven as this good, good Father that we sing about. Anyway, you have a great day. Ta-ra.